Let us begin Chapter 7, Sections 3 and 4. Problem number 1, add or subtract as indicated. So the first rational expression, your denominators here are 7. So to add irrational expressions with the same denominator, you just keep the denominator and you combine the numerator. So you have x plus 1 plus 6, which is equal to x plus 7 over 7. The next one, again, the denominators are the same. So you just keep the denominator and you combine the numerator. So you have x squared plus 9x. Again, you have minus 4x and minus 14. Again, don't forget to distribute that negative. So you're left with x squared, 9x minus 4x is 5x, minus 14 over x plus 7. So now we want to factor that numerator, which two numbers multiplied to negative 14 and added equals 5, and that is x plus 7 times x minus 2 over x plus 7. The x plus 7 cancels, and your final answer is x minus 2. Problem number 2, find the least common denominator for each of these rational expressions. So looking at your denominators, you have 4y to the 5th, which is equal to 2 squared y to the 5th. And 8y is equal to 2 to the 3rd y. Therefore, your least common denominator is 2 to the 3rd and y to the 5th, which is the higher degree on both. So going to the next part in number 2. 9x squared over 7x minus 14. So here let's factor this denominator. You can take out a 7 times x minus 2. And this denominator you have x minus 2 squared. Therefore your least common denominator is the 7 times the x minus 2 squared. Number 3, rewrite each rational expression as an equivalent rational expression with a given denominator. So here for 9y to the 5th to equal 72y to the 9th, we multiply 9y to the 5th by 8y to the 4th. So when we multiply 9y to the 5th times 8y to the 4th, we have 72y to the 9th. Therefore, you multiply the numerator and denominator by the 8y to the 4th. So we have 3 over 9y to the 5th is equal to 3 times 8y to the 4th over 9y to the 5th times 8y to the 4th, and that is equal to 24y to the 4th over 72y to the 9th, which is what we're looking for, and that is our equivalent expression. Part B for number 3, we have 2x squared plus 10. Let's first factor this denominator by finding the greatest common factor of both terms, which is a 2. So 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 5 is 10. So here our denominators are almost the same, except we're missing a 2 here on the outside. So we need to multiply this rational expression by 2. So we have 5 plus y times 2. That's what we're missing here. So we have 2 times x squared plus 5 times 2. And that is equal to 10 plus 2y over 4 x squared plus 5. Now let's move on to number 4. Perform each indicated operation. For the first one in number 4, your denominators are not the same. Therefore, you need to find the least common denominator. And the least common denominator is found by multiplying the denominators. So 7 times 6, and you have the a in both, so you just keep the a. Therefore, your least common denominator is 42a. So here we need to multiply the first fraction by 6, and the second fraction we need to multiply by 7. So now we have 42a, and we can combine our numerators. 15 times 6 is 90, plus 8 times 7 is 56. Therefore, your answer is 146 divided by 42a, which can be simplified into 73 divided by 21a, and we simplify that by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. The next one for number 4, let us factor this second denominator by factoring out the greatest common factor, which is a 3. So 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 4 is 12. So now our least common denominator is 3 times x plus 4. So we multiply the first fraction by a 3. So we have 8 times 3 over x plus 4 times 3 minus 3 over 3x plus 4. Here we leave the second fraction as it is. So now the denominators are the same, so we combine our numerator. So 24 over 3 times x plus 4 minus 3 over 3 times x plus 4, which equals to 21 over 3 times x plus 4, and here we can simplify. 21 divided by 3 is 7, so our final answer is 7 over x plus 4. And the last problem for number 4, again, our least common denominator is y minus 4. So here what we're missing is a negative 1. So we need to multiply that second fraction by a negative 1. So it will look like this, y minus 4. So we have 15 over y minus 4 plus 20 times a negative 1. And then we multiply that denominator by negative 1. And again, when we do that, we have negative 4 plus y, which is the same as the first denominator. Now we can combine our numerators. 15 over y minus 4 plus negative 20 over y minus 4. 15 minus 20 is negative 5 over y minus 4. And that is our final answer for number 4. And moving on to the next example, we have 7 over x squared minus 5x. Again, remember here you have a denominator of 1. So our least common denominator is x squared. So we need to multiply the second fraction by x squared. So combining our numerator now, we have 7 over x squared minus 5x to the cubed over x squared. And here we can't combine like terms, so we would just leave it as 7 minus 5x cubed over x squared. The next problem, we have 3n minus 4 and 4 minus 3n. So our least common denominator is 3n minus 4. Again, what we're missing here is a negative 1. So we multiply that second fraction by negative 1. So 10 over 3n minus 4 minus 5 times negative 1 over 4 minus 3n times negative 1. Again, you can always check your answers here. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Negative 1 times the negative is a positive, so that means the denominators are the same. So let's combine the numerator. We have 10 over 3n minus 4. Here you have a negative times a negative, which becomes a positive, 5 over 3n minus 4. 10 plus 5 is 15 over 3n minus 4. And that is our final answer. And the last problem of number 4 is your denominators is a minus 2. And the next denominator is 4 minus 2a. So let's cancel. Let's factor out the negative 2. So we have negative 2 times a minus 2. So here our least common denominator is negative 2 times a minus 2. So here we're missing the negative 2, so let's multiply the first fraction by negative 2. So we have negative 1 times negative 2 over a minus 2 times negative 2 plus 4 over negative 2 times a minus 2. So now we have the same denominator, which means we can combine our numerators. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2 plus 4 over negative 2 times a minus 2, which is 6 over negative 2 times a minus 2. 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3 over a minus 2, or we can write our answer as 3 over 2 minus a. And this concludes Chapter 7, Sections 3 and 4.